Hello and good evening. Hello and welcome. I'm sorry about the lighting. I look like the Tangerine man here. I do look a bit Donald Trump because not only is my jacket as bright as his skin, but my skin now looks as bad as well. I don't know. I shall have to move it around a bit. Um, this lighting is a little bit too much. Maybe that's a bit better. Yes, okay, that's a bit better. Okay. I'm contrasting with the beautiful blue sky behind me. And I am wearing a lovely jacket tonight by the wonderful Sean Christopher, a wonderful tailor who is a great friend of mine who kindly gave me this lovely jacket. Um, and if you need clothing, Sean Christopher is your man. So please go to Sean Christopher and look him up on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, I don't know, wherever else. Look him up on the internet, and he has a wonderful clothing salon because he operates from his home. Um, Behind PJ's in Chelsea, the wonderful PJ's, which is my spiritual home. We love our PJ's with a passion. PJ's is the best bar in Britain, without a doubt. It's my spiritual home. So there we go. Sean the Tailor, yes, says Cult Television. And Cult Television, of course, you have met. The lovely Sean. Yep, he's a fabulous gentleman, and yep, I wish I had more outfits by him, but unfortunately, I'm here in France for the moment, and so I cannot get any more for the moment. But maybe later. I'm looking dapper, says Paula Massey. Thank you, Paula. It's very kind of you to say. Also, Celia likes the jacket. Yes, well. It's very me, isn't it? It's tangerine terror, which is what I am. Orange is the new black, as they said in that particular program. When you do crime, orange is obviously the color you have to wear. So there we go. And I've got my lovely Bernard Weatherall jumper on as well. So there we are. Anyway, very posh Matthew, says Stevie D. Uh, well, that's very nice of you to say also. Anyway, yes, so I'm going to talk about a number of different topics tonight. I will talk a bit off the cuff about Virginia. Virginia Roberts. We'll wait for a few more people to come in, but let's have a few questions from a few of you to start off with. But we'll talk about Virginia. We'll talk about Paul Gadd, aka that pop star Gary Glitter, and we'll talk about the lovely topic of storks, because I love storks. And storks are making a great comeback in Britain, and that's a wonderful story that Country Life shared today. So let's have that. I've got a bit of a palm tree. Yes, Cult Television. It looks like you are in Miami Vice, he says. So, Min's house has a slight air of Miami Vice, according to Cult Television. Thank you for your observation. Yes, my little bit of palm tree. I could be in Palm Beach, couldn't I? There we go. But we're not in Palm Beach. We're in the south of France. So there we go. Right. Yes, I think some of you are very suspicious of Virginia, but we'll come to Virginia in due course. Let's wait for a few more people to arrive. So, have we any questions that do not relate to any of these matters? Different questions whilst we wait for a few more people to come in. We've got 56 of you arriving now. There's 11 more of you coming in just now. So, yeah, fantastic. Let's wait for a few more before we go on to the serious topics. Let's do that. Where was I today? I've been here, there, and everywhere today. I've been to a supermarket. I bought some J&B, and I bought myself a bit of Tangerine, and for Lady Min, I went to the garden centre and I bought her a few more flowers that she wanted me to buy for her. So I've done gardening this afternoon. I've been back being Alan Titchmarsh for the afternoon. Lots of gardening went on, and there's lots of yellow and red and all sorts of other colours in the garden now. So I've been doing gardening. I don't mind doing gardening. I think it's the most joyous thing to deal with plants. I'm not like King Charles. I don't talk to the plants, but I do enjoy the experience of gardening. I think gardening is a fabulous thing to do. It is something that gives you great pleasure to see things grow and prosper and succeed. Gardening is an absolute joy. So it's been a lovely afternoon of gardening. And prior to that, I went and had a burger by myself, which was a nice thing to do. The alternative, the plat du jour, was tripe. For God's sake, why on earth would anyone want to offer anyone tripe to eat? Ugh. You wouldn't even give that to a dog. Disgusting. I don't know why they were serving tripe, but that's what they were offering as their plat du jour. I was never going to eat that, so immediately I went for the burger. It's easy. It's an easy option. Tripe versus a burger, or anything else. I'm sorry about this scraping noise in the background. I think that our neighbours have arrived back, and they do tend to make an awful lot of noise. They tend to do this normally, actually, in the morning. Weirdly, they tend to start at about 4:30 a.m. and they scrape their chairs around. So I'm sorry if there's scraping noises in the background. They're very odd with their noise. I thought it was somebody else making this noise, but I gradually realized that the scraping noise, which is terrible, was them. Anyway, I'm sorry if it's interrupting the program, but there we go. Where is Lady Min? Lady Min, are you going to say hello?
Yeah, Lady Min's not very well.
She's not very well, but she'd like to say hello.
Hello.
She'll say hello, but she's not very well, so she doesn't really want to say very much. No, that's where we are. You'd like me to stand up and show you the jacket? Well, I don't think that's very necessary, but you want to see it all? There you go. That's not very productive. We haven't got really the studio space to show you the whole thing. So there we go. Right. No, you cannot be seeing her. She's not in a condition to be seen today. There we are. Right. Any more questions for me? Any more questions before, we've got 72 of you now. So thank you for all 72 of you who've come in. Let's have a few more of you before we start going on about things. Right. Any questions? Any questions? Please throw a few questions my way. You're hoping she feels better soon. Well, we're hoping she feels better soon too. She's hoping she feels better soon. Was Michael Barrymore defending Gary Glitter? I don't know. I don't know if Barrymore has made any comments about Gary Glitter, but if he has, shame on him. But, Michael Barrymore is a piece of scum, and he's a piece of toe rag, and he's a piece of absolute shit, and he's the worst person on the planet for what he did to the Lubbock family. Stuart Lubbock should never, ever have been treated the way he was at that house. And I defend the Lubbock family till my end. No one is going to make me be quiet about the Lubbock family. I support them So there we go. Right. Next question. Right. Do you ever play your live podcast back as a learning curve? No, never. No, I never watch any of it. I'm on it, so I've done it. So I don't need to watch it back, do I? Why would I want to watch it back? That'd be really boring to me. So no, I don't. Obviously, obviously sometimes I say stupid things because I can be a bit crazy. And I can do it when I'm a little bit over refreshed. But no point. What's the point? I don't need to watch myself. I don't want to watch myself. I don't see the point. Everybody has told me to start doing this again, which is why I have, because I did stop doing it for a very, very long time. Because now I've started doing it again. No, I don't want to watch myself. I'm not interested in watching myself. That's like being very vain. No, thank you. No. Right. Where is a cheap place for a traveller to stay in London? Well, I'd recommend there's a lovely hotel I used to stay in myself in South Kensington. You can stay in the Grange Strathmore Hotel, which was the place where the Queen Mother's family lived. And that's a lovely hotel. So ask for a lady called Maureen, and Maureen will look after you. So that's my recommendation, the Grange Strathmore. Other lovely hotels to stay in London. Well, let me think. The hotel near South Kensington Station. I'm trying to remember its name. I've forgotten its name, but it's a nice hotel. We stayed there recently. I've forgotten its name. It will come back to me in a minute. I can't remember its name, so I've forgotten. Anyway, I can't remember the name of the bloody place, but it was you asked me questions and I can't remember everything immediately. Right. What do I think about the show Adolescence? I don't know anything about it because I've never seen it because I'm in France. I cannot watch it because I don't have the VPN, so I can't watch such things. Right. Couldn't do it. I was missed when I wasn't doing my programs. Well, that's very kind of you to say. I stopped doing my programs because I thought I was a bit annoying, to be honest. Right. Have I ever done a manual job? Well, today I've done some gardening, so that's a very manual job, isn't it? You need to be yourself, says Mr. Man. Well, I am myself. I don't try to be anybody else. So why would I claim to be anybody else other than myself? I'm just me, myself, and I. Right. Amanda loves the Diplomat Hotel in Belgravia, a very quirky hotel. Well, I believe that's been pulled down. And there was a very evil woman who I knew who lived in that hotel. Her name was Marie Claire von Olvensleben, Baroness von Olvensleben. Yes, she lived there. This wicked, evil bitch lived in that hotel. She was the lady who rolled around on the floor with Michael Barrymore. She is an evil, horrible woman. And that hotel has reviews for having rats running around the floor in it. all sorts of things. Anyway, it's been pulled down since, and it's being renovated. I don't know what it's becoming, but whether it's going to be a housing development or a hotel. But no, I would not urge anyone to stay in the Diplomat Hotel. Well, you can't stay there anyway because it's no longer a hotel. So bye bye and good riddance to the Diplomat Hotel. But if you liked it, fair enough to you. If you're lucky, you're upset about that hotel. It was a one-off. Well, it was the home of one of the biggest racists I've ever met in my life, one of the wickedest women I've ever met in my life. Myself and Mrs. Liz Brewer could not stand the dreadful Baroness. The Baroness is a complete piece of toe rag. She's a disgusting piece of filth. A sick in the head, mad woman. She wrote books that said absolutely everything about everything. You know, a bit like, you know, that man, Eli, who said that. Seriously? Are you a complete nut, or are you a complete nuttier than nut? She's definitely a nuttier than nut. The woman is a complete freak. Absolutely appalling. Have I got a tip for Saturday? Asks. Oh, Victoria is offering a tip for Saturday. Here we are. We have Victoria Haig in the room. We have our wonderful Victoria, the best jockey turned racehorse trainer. The lovely Victoria is in the room. Could Victoria please share her tip? I will write it down myself. We need to know Victoria's tip. No, I'm not ignoring you, Victoria. We'd love you to go, Vicky. You were here yesterday. Yes. Get your tips out. Come on. We want your tips. Get your tips out. We don't want get your tits out. We want get your tips out. Sorry, you know, given that some people are making jokes. Right. We need the tips. We don't love tripe. No cult television. I didn't want that. But anyway, is Victoria going to offer her tip? She's going to get her tips out. Right. Victoria, have we any tips for the Grand National? Grand National tips from Victoria. It's mine's a double. Right. Okay. Right. So Victoria is an esteemed racehorse trainer. If you want to get involved in horse racing, you should go and associate with Victoria. Victoria will help you, and for not a lot of money, she can get you involved in horse racing. So if you want to put your money where your mouth is with horse racing, go and get involved with my lovely friend Victoria. She was a jockey. She became a racehorse trainer. She's had a whole series of stories in her life about things that happened to her. She's an absolutely fabulous lady. Lady Min and I love her and adore her. She's one of the best. She's one of the best people you could ever meet. She's joyous. She's fun. She's kind. And she's talented. And yeah, there we go. Right. It's not in the National. Okay. Well, which horse would you recommend for the Grand National Victoria then? Okay. Which horse are you recommending for the Grand National Victoria? We need a tip from you for the Grand National. Right. You're coming to Saint Tropez. Okay. Well, we'd love to see you in Saint Tropez, but you have to come soon because we've only got about 25 days left here. We can't stay beyond that. It's not going to be possible. So you've got to come soon. So, which horse do you recommend for the Grand National? She hasn't looked yet. Okay. So Victoria hasn't got a tip, but which race is Mine's a Double in then? Which race is Mine's a Double running in? Which day and which race? Which day? Which race? Because we must give the readers fair tips. It's not Cilla Black at 13-1, Pauline. No, Cilla Black will not be running in any race. She's definitely in the graveyard. So, no, she's not running at 13-1. It's not the one with 4 legs, DVD. They all have 4 legs, obviously. So that's not true. Going each way on Mine's a Double. But when is Mine's a Double running? When is Mine's a Double? It's not Janet Evans at 1-10. Janet is brown bread in everybody's books. It's not surprise, it's Cilla who might win. I know you all love a bit of Cilla, but there we go. What do I think happened to Shergar? I think the IRA probably just tried to get it in the horse box and they treated it very badly. The poor horse probably broke its legs and it was dead. The poor thing suffered a terrible fate because it was so mistreated by the evil IRA. You know, having had experience of the IRA myself on 2 occasions, I can tell you the IRA have, they were more civilized than other terrorist organizations. At least they gave fair warning, but with a horse, they probably didn't know how to handle that horse. And that poor horse was manhandled into a horse box because they were stealing it from the Aga Khan because he was the owner. Let's be honest. That poor thing probably reared, it probably kicked, it probably wanted to get its way out, and it probably broke its legs. And then they thought, oh my God, we've got this dead bloody animal and we want a ransom because they wanted the money for it, obviously. Well, of course it's never been found because that poor horse probably was dead within minutes of being kidnapped, I would reckon myself, but I don't know. I know as much as anybody. I know nada. I know nothing. I'm an absolute... I know as much as you. Cannot answer the question. There we go. Yes, they did not know how to handle a horse, precisely. I think, these people were just Irish IRA peasants, and that's what they were. And they mistreated that beautiful, wonderful horse. How could you do that to that poor animal, you cruel bastards? Shame on you, the IRA. And I had my own experiences of the IRA, and I'm not going to go on about that because I'm not allowed to. But I will say to you, it's disgusting what the IRA did to so many terrible people and animals like that and other things. Sick in the head, twisted monsters you are, the IRA. And the IRA still exists. They still chain people to the back of railways and drag them along. They still do awful things, but nobody talks about it anymore. That's the legacy of Tony Blair. And I do criticize Blair for that. I respect Tony Blair for many things. I think Tony Blair was actually a very, very good prime minister. But to allow these people just to be forgotten, we're not allowed to talk about the awful things they're doing in Northern Ireland. Shame on all of us. Shame on all of us. There we go. Right. So Victoria is saying, stop rambling, cross for Saturday. Stop rambling, cross, La Roche. Croche La Roche. Thank you, Victoria. Saturday. Okay. Well, that's very kind of you, Victoria. But what we would like from you, Victoria, please, Victoria, if you could be as helpful to give us a tip for the Grand National, Victoria. That's what we would like, because obviously most people watching this will only be betting on one race, which is the Grand National. Let's have a Victoria Haig tip. Right. Okay. Let's have a tip for that. We need a Victoria tip for Saturday, don't we? For the Grand National, don't we, Lady Min? We need a Victoria tip.
Yeah.
The other races are very nice, thank you, but we need a tip, right? Make sure my Betfred account is still active. I don't have a Betfred account. I have Ladbrokes and Skybet. Myself and Bet Victor was another one I used to use. Right. Victoria says on Thursday she will give a tip for the Grand National. So we haven't got a Victoria tip yet, but a Victoria tip will be a wonderful tip. So we'll have to wait till Thursday. We've got 2 days to go. So we've got to wait for 2 days for Victoria. Right. Keeley doesn't like the race. It's cruel. Well, many people don't like the race, I realize. There we are. Anyway. Right. So, anyway. We will now move along. We've been going 27 minutes. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the horrible man called Gary Glitter going bankrupt. Victoria loves my jacket. Yes, well, Victoria, I'll introduce you to my tailor friend when you're in London. Right, so Gary Glitter has gone bankrupt. Paul Francis Gadd is his actual name. He is a rotten, revolting ratbag. He is one of the most poisonous snakes on the planet. He is a piece of filth, scum, detritus, evil, vile. There is not many words you can't throw at him. This man is a disgusting piece of detritus. He is. The Mirror's front page this morning said, "Glitter victims victory." Yeah, well done. Well done to the Mirror. I salute you, the Mirror. Your headline was fabulous. Well done. And a picture of the shameful piece of rubbish, the disgusting man who abused a 12-year-old. A 12-year-old. To do what he did to a 12-year-old. And, in Vietnam, he'd abused a 10-year-old and an 11-year-old. What makes this man desire to behave in such a way? He's not a man. He's a monster. He is a monster. He is evil. He is disgusting. He's depraved. He's revolting. I don't know what words there are so many bad words I could use, but he is not a man, that's for sure, because a man would never do such a thing. A monster would. There is nothing right about this man, and I'm very surprised that he didn't meet a firing squad in Vietnam, and it's a shame he didn't, really, isn't it? Because he is a drain on our nation. It costs £65,000 a year on average to keep a prisoner. What's the point of keeping this monster in prison? Because he has no remorse. He was let out in 2023. I don't just read out headlines like people do on other programs. He was released in 2023, but he was recalled to jail immediately. And I wrote about how he was released because I knew he was allegedly coming to Kent and he was going to be kept in a halfway house. And then he went on the dark web and all the rest of it. And, he did his dirty on the mobile phone again. This man is incapable of changing. He is a monster. He's a paedophile. He's filth. He's scum. He's revolting, and he's not even bothered to pay his victims. So he's been declared bankrupt for failing to pay damages to the abuse victim whom he raped when she was just 12 years old. This man is as revolting as those Tate brothers. He is arrogant. He has no remorse for what he's done, and they have no remorse. They are as shameful as he is. They are equally awful, these people. They don't care. They are misogynistic monsters. Slater and Gordon, who are a law firm who have represented this victim, and I've had lots of dealings with Slater and Gordon over various cases, Jimmy Savile and all the others, Rolf Harris, etc., etc. They successfully launched an enforcement action making him bankrupt after he dodged paying the £508,800 compensation he owed to his victim, the 12-year-old, who was obviously no longer 12 years old. But in a 13-page ruling by Mrs. Justice Tipples, I think that's a great name, Mrs. Justice Tipples, cheers to her. She sounds like she enjoys a drink. The Torquay and Newton Abbot County Court said, this man has been jailed for 16 years in 2015 for the abuse of 3 victims between 1975 and 1980. He humiliated and coercively controlled the victim. The compensation for this particular one, was, deserved because she was unable to work, suffering it caused. The victim felt so ashamed that she wanted to scrub her face off, and she used a pumice stone to try and scrub her face off. She felt so dirty as a result of what this bastard, monster, creep, cretin, evil bastard did to her. Disgusting. What a parasitic predator, as Janet Jackson here is saying. You're right. He's not a man, Nicola Grimm. I totally agree with you. He should never be released. I agree with you, Jane. Jane, well said. He needs to be given. There are very few people who should be given the electric chair, but I would say Gary Glitter is one of them. Gary Glitter has not an ounce of remorse for the revolting, disgusting things he has done to people. He is evil. I support, like we talked to you about yesterday, Jeremy Bamber. Jeremy Bamber, I really believe, is a man who deserves to be let free. Let Jeremy Bamber out of prison. He is not a bad man. Omar Benguet, let him out. Good person. Mark Alexander, let him out. People like that. Anyway, there are people who should be kept in prison for life. And I cannot stand that Lucy bloody Letby. And I've been on the phone with various people this afternoon, very senior people. Lucy Letby and her little army of, trolls and the rather famous people, she's likely to get away with it. And I'm disgusted. She is not an innocent person, in my view. I will never, ever change my view. Lucy Letby is a disgusting stain on humanity, and those poor children that she murdered, the 7 parents, the 7 sets of parents should be left in peace. Awful. What's my thoughts on Pete Townsend? Well, Pete Townsend tried to investigate child abuse, and he claimed he looked at these things by mistake. I had a friend who was a great friend of Pete Townsend. He used to go on tour with him. I did meet Mr. Townsend, but why do you want to go looking at things like that? Very odd. I can't say either way. In his case, 50-50. I can't say he is as bad as some of the others because he didn't have thousands of images on his phone. He wasn't like Hugh Edwards. Hugh Edwards had multiple images. So I wouldn't say Pete Townsend was as bad as Hugh Edwards. That's probably a fair and kind analysis of Pete Townsend. But Hugh Edwards was a disgusting, filthy, revolting man. So there we go. Would I lock Kitty up? Well, Kitty, we'll see what happens with Kitty when Kitty dies, won't we? So let's wait till Kitty dies. I won't say any more about Kitty tonight. You say Kitty is odd. Yes, I agree. Kitty is very odd. Kitty is a disgusting weirdo, in my view, but there we are. Nicola can't abide Letby. I agree. Lady Min agrees about Letby. We don't like Letby. Glitter is an absolute scrote. Yes, I totally agree with you there. Hugh is a terrible guy. Totally agree with you. I think most of us are in agreement about these awful, awful people. They take advantage of the world and they treat us as if we're some kind of stupid morons, don't they? They don't have any respect for us. They think that we are just silly little ordinary people who should shut our mouths, and they're famous and they can do whatever they want. Well, people like me don't shut up. There we go. I'm not scared of them. Hugh Edwards should have been sent to prison, yes. It's an absolute disgrace. Well said, Paulie. Wouldn't you agree, Lady Min?
Yes.
Hugh Edwards should have got a minimum of 15 years in prison. I totally agree with you 150%. Yep. Lock him up. He is a creep. And, he will be remembered for being the man who broadcast the death of the late Queen and all of that. And everybody thought that he was this distinguished, nice gentleman. And meanwhile, all he was doing was dirty pictures of 14-year-olds and 10-year-olds and whatever else. What a disgusting piece of filth. He is revolting. He's evil, he's vile, and I hope nobody ever allows him back into television in Britain ever again. But what happened with Philip Schofield? They've allowed him back, so this one will probably get his way back too, won't he? Shortly, we will have him back. Oh no, they do not. They do not ban these people. They always have to have a come back. Michael Barrymore, look at what he's doing. So the lovely Lubbock family who have suffered enough, they have to endure this creep who is reinventing himself with his TikTok channel. You can't get away from these creeps. So no, this one, Hugh Edwards, so he'll be back. You mark my words, he'll be back. Not that we will not be complaining, because I will be complaining, because that's what I do. I'm very good at that. I don't shut up. But there we are. Yeah, there we are. Is Schofield really back? No, he has a Channel 5 show. Yes, of course he's back, Mr. Lee Kicker. Yes, he did have a program. Yep. Right. Lucy Letby should be released immediately, says Tony G. Are you insane? Were you born in a barn? Were you born in a ditch? You're a complete fool, in my humble opinion. But you're entitled to your view, and I respect your right to have your view. But Lucy Letby is a murdering monster, and she wrote letters and said that she did it. So, for God's sake, shut your bloody mouth. You're a bloody fool. Don't be so nasty to the poor families of those poor innocent children who were murdered by that evil bloody bitch. She's an evil. She's the most evil child killer in British history. It's an outrage. She's worse than Rose Bloody West. How can you defend that awful woman? Shame on you. Whoever you are, I don't like you. So bog off. Don't like you. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
We don't like anyone who supports Lucy Letby. Lucy Letby is another one who deserves the electric chair. I can't stand that bloody woman.
Too good for him.
It would be too. Lady Men says the electric chair would be too good for her. I just cannot understand how anyone can defend this woman just because she's blonde, white, blue-eyed, middle class, pathetic, weird parents who are just weirdos. That's why you all support her. If she were a Pakistani lady or a black lady from Africa or a Mexican or a Nigerian or from Ouagadougou or from Burkina Faso or wherever, none of you would. Did you just go throw the book at her? It's because she doesn't look like a killer that you're all supporting her, the ones that are. And it's shameful. Absolutely shameful. I really think it's horribly racist, actually, of all of you. You're the bunch of racists. You only support her because she's white and blonde and middle class. Oh, a white blonde middle class girl like her could not do such a thing. Of course she couldn't. She made videos. She wrote notes saying she wanted to do things. She wrote loads of letters. Oh, for God's sake. Pull yourselves together, people. Get real. This bloody woman is evil. Yes, well said, Nicola. Nicola, she is evil. Well said. I thought so. So Tony G says, is the hospital faultless? I'm not blaming the hospital. It's nothing to do. The hospital is faultful for employing her. If the hospital employed her, they're definitely at fault, aren't they? Because they should have done better background checks on the bloody evil woman. Precisely. Right. Okay. She was rather plain and unattractive and odd. Teddy bears and lights around her bed. Yes, all the hallmarks of a weirdo. She had every hallmark of a weirdo, with all those weird letters that she was writing. I want to kill these people. And then all the pestering letters she wrote to the victims. Well said, Paulie. Precisely. You're on the right track here. There we are. Elaine Harvey, she is a cruel, evil woman. Elaine, you're on the page. I realize that a lot of you here hate me, and you think I speak nonsense because you all love her. Lucy Letby is one of the most evil women ever to have lived on this planet. She is the modern day Harvey Crippen, Dr. Harvey Crippen. Look up Harvey Crippen. Look up Dr. Buck Ruxton. Look up all those kind of cases. I'm talking completely without any notes here. There are lots of other cases that I've looked into of evil, evil, evil people. This woman, Letby, she was videotaped as they arrested her. She's a complete psycho. The woman's completely cuckoo. And Nadine Dorries, Peter Hitchens, and that stupid David Davis, amongst others, have leapt on her little bandwagon to support her because they think she's innocent. And they'll probably get her off. I actually do believe that this evil, evil woman will probably find a loophole. There will be a loophole. And then you'll all say, I meant to apologize. I will not be apologizing. I stand by my story. That woman is evil. And I reckon she killed a hell of a lot more. Like with Fred West and Rosemary. Rosemary killed possibly 10, allegedly. That's what she was convicted of. Fred killed 13, but possibly 30. So I think that Letby killed a hell of a lot more than 7. She is a monster. She's disgusting. She's evil. She's vile. She's sick. And I don't care what you say, all you people having a go at me right now, right? There's loads of you having a go at me that I should... No, I'm not going to change my mind. Peter Hitchens is just pissed off that he couldn't measure up to his brother, says Mr. Man. I loved Christopher. I spent time in San Francisco with Christopher, with Sean Penn at the bar, the Tosca Cafe bar in North Beach in San Francisco. I had wonderful times. Peter Hitchens I met in London when I was at university because my friend at university ran this kind of question time type debate, and we had Peter Hitchens along once. He was just so awful, just an arrogant, awful man. Didn't like him. But am I a friend of Prince Andrew? No, I'm not a friend of Prince Andrew. I've met Prince Andrew perhaps maybe twice. Yes, twice. Prince Andrew certainly wouldn't want to meet me now because of all the things I've written about him. So I don't think Prince Andrew would want me around. Fred West was chased out of Glasgow. That is indeed true. Yeah. Fred West did do some very bad things in Glasgow also. I think he was involved with ice cream selling in Glasgow at one point. Who is Jimmy Savile? Well, Jimmy Savile is dead, so he's no longer anybody. Jimmy Savile is was a very unpleasant man. That's all I shall say. He loved Sean Penn in Carlito's Way. Sean Penn was a very nice man to spend time with. I enjoyed his company. Delightful man. About Virginia, it doesn't pass the smell test. She meant to be in hospital and has jewelry still on, plus her own clothes, and was told she has 4 days to live. Now you can live with one kidney. And it's all in capital letters from Stephen. I don't know. This Virginia, sorry, something doesn't make sense. Right. Mr. Lee Kicker says he has the same birth date as Fred West. Well, I wouldn't go around shouting about that, but you can't help your birth date, so there we go. Anyway, you be proud of your own birth date, but don't mention him. I wouldn't say that's a good idea. Right. Right. Okay. So. Right. We're getting through all sorts of questions here. Have you any more questions? Right. Have I got a chauffeur? No, I do the driving. I like driving. I find driving relaxing, actually. Jingle jangle jewelry. Rattle rattle. I think you're talking about Jimmy Savile. Tangerine Man, play a song for me. Well, I can't really do that, can I? Okay. So, right. Shall we talk about Gary Glitter or not? Or have I spoken too much about Gary Glitter already? Would you like me to talk about Gary Glitter, or would you like me to talk about something else? Right. Okay. So Gary Glitter bankrupt, I just think, well, it's time to put a stop to him. He needs to be put away in a cupboard and forgotten about. We don't need any more Gary Glitter. I'm not going to bother reading out all, I've made all these notes, but there is absolutely no point me reading out all these notes because we all feel the same about Gary Glitter. This sick, twisted, depraved individual should be kept in prison for life. He's a danger to society. It's absolutely revolting to have him around in our world. We don't need people like this. This man needs to just go away. I'm not going to bother reading out all my notes. I've spent several hours writing out loads of notes. Look, here you are. You can see. But I'm not going to bother reading out everything else. Because I don't think you really need to hear it. If you want to learn about Gary Glitter, you'll go on the internet and you can read it yourself. So, this creep is still raking in the royalties. He's utterly disgusting. It's better when I talk from the heart. I don't think I need to have a series of notes to talk about him. He was evil. He was disgusting. He was repugnant. Frankly, it's a great shame the people in Vietnam who I thought would have some kind of firing squad didn't just deal with him, because he is one of the most wicked people on the entire planet. Look, most criminals can be reformed. They can change. They can get better, and they can behave in a nicer fashion. And he has been given chance after chance. You know, he went to Vietnam after his first offense in England. And what did he do? He found a 10-year-old and an 11-year-old. And then he came back to England, you know, convicted of doing things to a 12-year-old. And then he gets out on license and he goes on the dark web. The man is not reformable. He's not a man anyway. He's a monster. He's evil. And that rat is not savable. And he's costing a fortune to keep in prison. And his little friend, Jim Davidson, you know, his big apologist, that horrible, awful, vile man. And my mother was very upset once when we went to the Carlton Club at St. James's and Jim Davidson was sat there in the same room. We do not like Jim Davidson. He is not our kind of person. He is an absolute Peter Scum as well. Awful. He goes to visit this creep in prison. He visits the monster Gary Glitter in prison. Poor Gad. What is wrong with you, Jim Davidson? You know, you are a man who's been accused of being a wife beater yourself, and you've had multiple wives. You've had at least 5, as far as I'm aware. You really aren't a very nice man, Jim Davidson, and I don't like you either. But you go around saying, oh, you know, he should be given a chance. Let him be rehabilitated. He does not deserve to be rehabilitated. He deserves the electric chair. I wouldn't say that of many people on the planet, but this particular man abused 10-year-olds and 11-year-olds. Sorry, what on earth makes anyone sexually attracted to a 10-year-old child? That is disgusting. That is morally repugnant and it's wrong. Gary Glitter should have been put through. I wish those Vietnamese had just done it for us. Why didn't they just give him the firing squad? I'm very disappointed in you Vietnamese people. You could have dealt with him for us. It's a great shame you didn't. But of course, he paid a bribe and he gets away with it, doesn't he? Because that's how it works. Horrible, 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 evil man. I realize that I'm considered. You know, many people think that there shouldn't be any death penalty for anybody, but sorry, if you go around abusing 10-year-old children, you're not fit to live on our bloody planet, you disgusting people. Why on earth would you want to abuse a beautiful child? Leave the child alone. Horrible, horrible people. Fiona Wright, good friend of mine. Lovely to hear from you, Fiona. We don't like Jim Davidson. Jim Davidson is a piece of dirt. Dirty Davidson. Ban him. He's the lowest of the low. Jane Kelly can't stand Jim Davidson. Yep, absolute monsters, says Jane. Yeah, why do they always end up in Vietnam, says Williams. There's a load of horrible people. Pond Life says best. We don't need to have these horrible people attacking our beautiful children on our planet. Leave them alone. Absolutely disgusting. It's not correct. It's completely wrong. Never attack children. Well, never attack anybody. Never attack an adult. Don't attack anybody. Let's be honest. We don't need to be attacking people. Kitty isn't interested in female children in Vietnam or Cambodia either. Well, I agree with you about him. He's another freak. But old Kitty will be remembered when he's dead, of course. So Kitty, Kitty, Kitty. We all know about Kitty, don't we? But I'm not allowed to talk about that, so I can't do too much. Right. Anyway, any more questions for me before we move on to another topic? We'll talk about the Storks. I'll talk about the Storks. Who is Kitty? Well, Kitty is a British pop star. Just do a bit of Googling and you'll soon find out. But there we go. What car have we got at the moment? We have an Audi TT. It's a funny little car, but it gets us around, so it works. There we are. A living doll, yes. That's who Kitty is. Yep, he might be that. Right. The Tangerine family is your color. Right. Okay. Well, I love a bit of orange, tangerine, whatever you want to call it. What do you think about Virginia and Prince Andrew? Well, I find it very odd that this woman has told her story in the way she has. There's something not quite right about the way she's telling her story. I've never ever met Virginia Roberts. I have met multiple victims of Ghislaine. Obviously, I was the person who exposed the story of the bathtub in Kinnerton Street, Belgravia, because Ghislaine lied to the FBI and said the bathtub was too small for any kind of sexual activity or any kind of activity to occur in. And I proved that the bathtub, because I got the photographs of the bathtub was full size. So I know an awful lot about Virginia, because Virginia was obviously the woman who was paid allegedly £12 million by Prince Andrew to do with what went on in that bathtub. And I proved that the bathtub was a full-size bathtub. So I proved Ghislaine to be a liar. And that is my major success in the whole story, is I'm the one that proved Ghislaine to be a liar over the bathtub. But I didn't prove whether the photograph of Ghislaine on the landing with Prince Andrew was true or not. But Prince Andrew paid Virginia allegedly £12 million. So why would he pay her £12 million unless something hadn't happened? He claims he never even had met the woman, but he paid her £12 million allegedly. He did pay her something, and it was a very substantial something. But today, why is she bleating on this strange woman? Because she is not a nice woman in her own regard, in my view. And I'll explain why. Virginia was sent to work by her father at Mar-a-Lago. And that's how she met Ghislaine, Donald Trump's club. So Mr. Donald Trump, for all his claims of innocence, he's got as much involved in this as the Clintons. Don't you mark my words. I don't think Mr. Trump is Mr. Innocent. Let's be having you there. So Ghislaine went for a massage and realized that this little Virginia was perhaps a bit useful. So little old Virginia was recruited by Ghislaine. So Virginia became involved with Epstein and her, and and went round to the little house in Palm Beach and all the rest of it. And then Virginia got a bit sick of it herself. So Virginia recruited other people. So I would say Virginia is as guilty as Maxwell, because Virginia brought other people in. She's not an innocent party, this woman. And she did manage to get herself, a big payout from Prince Andrew. And now she's doing this thing on April Fool's Day. And one of my friends said, "Oh, is this an April Fool's joke?" I don't think it probably is. But the Australian authorities are saying, well, there wasn't any serious car crash. So very odd. And then, old Victoria Herpes is Harvey is getting herself involved in the whole story. Awful as well. It's just a complete car crash of a stupid story. This woman, wouldn't you agree?
Waste of space.
She is not to be trusted. She doesn't tell the truth. She's not a reliable source, in my view. I have never had a conversation with her because she doesn't want to have a conversation. I've tried to contact her on one occasion, and she didn't respond. So I'm frankly glad she probably didn't respond, because she's a waste of space. She's an absolutely useless source of information because she's not reliable, is she? There's something unreliable about her. What? Someone called Miriam wants to ask a question. What do you want to ask me, Miriam? What do you want to ask me? And you call me the drunkard. Okay. Thank you, Miriam, for your abuse. Very kind of you, Miriam. My audience don't have a problem with me. So what's your problem with me, Miriam? Right, Miriam. What's the problem, Miriam? I love it when I get one of these little trolls. Let's be having you. Come on, Miriam. Come out of the woodwork, Miriam. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Let's be having you. You said I'm drunk. I'm not drunk at all. I'm speaking perfectly rationally. So what's your problem, Miriam? Come on, Miriam. You've just answered me. Oh, have you indeed, Miriam? Well, what does that mean, you coward? Go away, Miriam. We don't want you here. Bog off. Yes, as Dale says, be kind, Miriam, or kindly bog off. The floor's yours, Miriam. LOL, says Tony. Come on, Miriam. Speak up. I really love it when I get one of these. I'm told I shouldn't really get angry with them, but from time to time, I like to have a little bit of a we call it sport. We'll have a bit of a pop at you, Miriam, you horrible old bag.
Come out from behind.
Come out, speak up, you horrible coward. Come on, Miriam. Yeah, no, everyone says it. Right. Tell him, Matthew. Yes, I will. Don't waste energy on her. Well, no, it's a bit of sport. We have a bit of fun with these little trolls from time to time. We have to get rid of them. So come on, Miriam. Where are you, Miriam? Let's be having you, Miriam. Man up, grow up, and show up, you piece of rubbish. Right. Miriam, the police are coming. Oh, yes, sir. They're coming for me. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I'm scared. The trolls, like you, are absolutely amusing. Troll spot. Yep, that's what it is. We've got a troll spot. In fact, shall we ever have this every day? A troll spot for people like Miriam. Come on, Miriam. Oh, Miriam, you've run away now, haven't you? Oh, dearie me. Oh, dear. Isn't it funny how these people like to do that? They like to have a go at you. And then when you actually call them out, as Amanda says, get a life. Yep. There we go. We'll have a daily troll spot. Miriam, we'll have a daily Miriam. I'm going to write it down in my book. It's a daily Miriam now. It's no longer called a troll. It's called a daily Miriam. Miriam, a daily Miriam is exactly what it will be. Won't you agree?
Yeah.
We have a Miriam of the day. Hello, Miriam. It's not a Karen. We've got Miriams. Karens are for other places. We've got Miriams. I'm going to make Miriam the name of the future. There we go. She is just a complete pest. Anyway, don't know what I did to piss her off, but delighted I did. It makes me laugh. I don't know. Stupid woman. Miriam Bogoff, says Jane from South Yorks. I agree with you. Anyway, we're going to have a daily Miriam now. People have Karens. We've got Miriams. I never thought Miriam would be the name of what we'd call them, but anyway, next. So, I'd like to talk next about the storks. The lovely storks were extinct in Britain as a result of the hunting in 1416. The first hatchings recorded in UK on the roof of last hatchings were recorded on the roof of St. Giles Cathedral, Edinburgh, in 1416. Well, in 2016, the birds were brought from Poland, Warsaw, to the Cotswold Wildlife Park, next to the estate, the Knepp Estate in Sussex, the lovely Knepp Estate, which is where lots of rewilding has gone on, about all sorts of things, establishing colonies. And we've got the White Stork Project. White storks live now in colonies for safety in their numbers. Their failure to breed in the UK over the last few centuries thought to be largely because there have been no nesting colony to provide security for visiting migrants. But they've ended up in Sussex. They're hardly like Meghan and Harry, you know, the storks in Sussex. They are welcome arrivals in Sussex. They're not like Meghan and the drippy Prince Harry. The wonderful storks. Storks are, you know, an emblem for abiding safety, and they are so wonderful. And they've arrived in Knepp and Storrington, and it's been designated Storrington Stork Village. European Stork Village. Now there are 53 storks fledged from wild nests at Knepp, 4 at Wadhurst, and they're mostly in the large shaggy nets on top of the ancient oaks. They've flown as far as Morocco and Spain, and with trackers have returned. What I'd like to say is storks are harbingers of joy, hope, and rebirth. There is a note of positivity for our show this evening. Storks are harbingers of joy, hope, and rebirth. Wouldn't you agree? That's a lovely thing.
They leave babies on the doorstep.
They are a delightful, wonderful thing. Absolutely fabulous isn't that? So let's celebrate the stork. Cheers. I have hardly any wine in my glass, but cheers to the stork. Cheers to the stork. There we are. Cheers to the stork, says Miss Marple, as does Jane and Steve. Yes. So, have you any more questions for me before we try and do a quiz? We are at 1 hour and 15 minutes. Storks, I still can't believe it's not butter, says Trevor. Well, there we go. Megain, the Grifter, and Ginger Whinger. Yep, well, they don't have any relevance to the lovely storks. Right, you're making an apple tart to bake, says Davina. Oh, well, we're sorry we haven't got a bit of your apple tart to have for dessert later. I'm sorry, Davina. You could send some to us down here in France. It would be lovely if you did. But have I ever met Richard Branson? Yes, I have met him. He is a disgusting, revolting, evil piece of toe rag. I will save the story on him for another day. But my father and I don't like Richard Branson. No, he is a wimp and a wazzock. He is awful. Nope, don't like him. Right, next question. Any more questions? Questions, please. The Storks. Who is Harry's father? Harry's father is King Charles. Don't believe anything else. It's all a load of nonsense. I do believe that King Charles is the father of the horrible brat. It's a very embarrassing thing to have as a child, admittedly. He's an awful person, but what a shame for the poor king to have such a horrible child. An awful, awful child. But look at royalty over the decades, over the centuries. There have been many awful children. There's been some very, very cuckoo people, haven't there? And he's one of them. He's a prime example. Whereas Prince William is absolutely fabulous. A lovely gentleman, kind and decent and honest, and he will be a good king. His brother is just a annoying pest, one of those annoying spare people with, hence the title of the ghastly book, who is so bitter that he wasn't there first. He is so bitter and twisted and wicked, ghastly. But his brother, Prince William, absolutely wonderful, fabulous gentleman, and he will do well for Great Britain. Britain will be proud to have him as king when he becomes king, because he will be a good king. He will be a king for a long time, because sadly his father is not a well man, and his father is old anyway. So he will be a king for a long period of time, one would imagine. Unless something weird happens, he will be king for a very long period of time. So the reign of King William will be a long reign, and that will be it will be a little bit like Queen Elizabeth, the second. It will be a reign that could go on for a very, very, very long time. So lots of things could happen in that time. So mark my words, we could be in for very interesting times in that sense. Yes. But the soppy, drippy drivel of that little white whinge bag whiner, they're not going to make up. They don't like one another. They can't stand one another. It's clearly obvious. The language has been noted by people who do that kind of thing, it's not going to be resolved. It's time to say goodbye to those two in their relationship. And Megain is going to only get worse. Have I met Chesney Hawkes? No, never met Chesney Hawkes in my life. Sorry, I don't know. I know who he is, but I've never met him. Right. Have I heard of the fisticuffs between Harry and William and Kate over Meghan and her music? No, I don't say. Not particularly about music. Ange B says, thank goodness William was the firstborn and not him. Yes, I totally agree. He is dreadful. Right. Oh, have we got Miriam here again? Oh, yes. Miriam wants me to apologize. What do you want me to apologize for, Miriam? Oh, Miriam is back. Come on, Miriam, let's be having you. I'm not going to apologize to you. You can rod off. Why do I need to apologize to you? You're bloody rude. She said, I'm not a troll and I didn't go away. I'm here. I'm Miriam with a question. What's your question, Miriam? Let's be having you, Miriam. Hey? Are you a Miriam? You're worse than a Karen. Wouldn't you agree?
I don't know what she's about.
You're a pest. Come on, Miriam. You bore. She's an absolute bore, this Miriam. I don't like her. Spit your question out. Yes, precisely, Jane. I agree with Jane. Come on, Miriam. Let's be having you, Miriam. It's a criminal offense to use racist language, says Miriam. What racist language have I used? I am not a racist. I have friends who are Pakistani, who are Indian, who are from Yorkshire, from Lancashire, from Australia, from Ouagadougou, from Burkina Faso. I have friends from everybody all over the world. You stupid pest. Whoever you are, you're ghastly. How dare you attack me? I am not a racist. How dare you call me a racist? I love my friends from all over the world. I have American friends. I have Mexican friends. I have some wonderful friends from Transylvania who've just had a baby that was born today. And they are celebrating the birth of their baby. And I'm going to be going to their christening of their child. I have wonderful friends from everywhere. I have friends from Poland. I have friends from Africa. I have friends from Australia. How dare you, you disgusting person? Don't you dare pick on me. I am not a racist, you horrible, horrible, horrible piece of toe rag. That's what you are. You awful woman, Miriam. To be a Miriam is worse than being a Karen. You are a dreadful woman. So come on, where's your bloody question? Let's be having you, Miriam. There's something about this Miriam. Oh, she's definitely a bit of an angry soul, as you say, the desolate one. Yes, there's something wrong with her. Am I Dracula? Who is Miriam? Well, I don't know who this mad woman is. Yes, if Miriam, as Jules B says, Miriam, if something here offends you, then leave. If you don't like it, Miriam, leave. Get out. Get out of our house. Because this is my house. I'm allowed to do whatever I want here. You don't have to be here. You could leave. Don't you agree?
Yep.
If you don't like what I have to say, get out of my house. As Peggy Windsor would say in EastEnders, get out of my pub. That's what I feel like I want to say to you. Bog off, woman, says Mr. Man. Well said. I like that in capital letters. Well said. Bog off now. Thank you to you. It couldn't be more Barrymore. Yep, there we go. Get out. Why do you have to ruin our program? Come on, Miriam. Let's be having you back. Because you've been ranting and raving again. So, yeah, she's Cilla Black back from the dead. Yep, probably. It could be Cilla Black back from the dead, as effectively. Miriam, go away. You attacked first, precisely. I don't care if she thinks I'm a drunk. I'm not drunk. I'm perfectly sober. I'm speaking perfectly rationally. She can stick it up her jumper. I don't care. You are a stupid, nasty pest woman, whoever you are. You're not probably a woman anyway. You could be a man, probably. You're a troll, that's for sure. And I'm not racist. I love everybody. I have friends from all over the world. So I'm not the racist. So how dare you call me a racist, you pathetic specimen? Because that's what you are. You're not a person. To me, you are just a specimen. You're a piece of dirt and detritus, and you belong in the mud. Shove off, you creep. Anyway, there we go. Yep. Anyway, I'm not drunk, no. But I'd love you to come back, Miriam. Come back, Miriam, and explain yourself, you stupid pest. Anyway, we'll move along. Let's have a quiz. Let's do something a bit more fun. We don't need her. I'm just going to quickly get myself another glass of wine, because quite frankly, I deserve one in the view of the fact that I have to put up with this kind of abuse. Time to open wine. I haven't got time to open wine, so I'll have to have a beer. I'll have to have a beer instead. Anyway, never mind. I'll have to have a beer now because I can't have time to open it.
Coca-Cola.
Lady Min has her Coca-Cola, so we'll start with a quiz. I do apologize for the interruption, but I didn't anticipate that we'd be going on for 1.5 hours. And anyway, I've got a beer because it's easier than opening the wine. I'd love to have a glass of wine, but I haven't got time to open it. So, right, okay, let's begin with a quiz. Have we got anyone to help me with a quiz? I need someone to help me. Before we begin with a quiz, the steeplechase. Yeah, the beer is... I'll pour it into the glass to be a bit more civilized. There we go. Right, have we got someone to help with the quiz? Have I got a helper for the quiz. No, the Miriam debacle. Don't worry. Miriam is not a debacle. Miriam is a monster. She's just another example of why I continue to speak out against these people. We don't need people like this in the world, picking on people, attacking people, being bullies and being horrible. She's just a bore and a bully. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
She should shut her fucking gob. Whoever she is, and she might not be a she, I would suspect it's probably a man. It's probably Sam Palmer or somebody like that, because that's what I tend to get attacking me. They tend to use pseudonyms, of course. So Miriam could be Sam Palmer or it could be somebody else. I'm not saying it's Sam Palmer, but it could be. It's bloody boring. It's not fair and it's not correct. And I've had enough of this nonsense. But I stand up for freedom of speech. And I don't stop other people enjoying their lives, do I? So let other people enjoy their lives. So it could be Barrymore, yes. It could be, I am very likely. It could be Surjit Sinclair. He's another cretin who pesters and, what he said about my father was appalling. That was utterly one of the most reprehensible things I've ever experienced. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Absolutely disgusting what he did. So, we've got despicable monsters. Yep. It could be any of that lot. Easy peasy. They're horrible. It could be Bernie Eccleston. No, I don't think Bernie bothers to spend the time doing it. Bernie's just a dirty old man who's just bored. He's just a coffin-dodging old crook. He doesn't do this kind of thing. That's not his style. No, I don't believe it's Bernie Eccleston. No, it's not Noel Edmonds. I don't know why you'd think it was Noel Edmonds, but it could be Kitty. No, I don't think it's him either. He's too self-absorbed with his own self-promotion. He's too busy promoting his calendar. Let's be honest. There we go. I don't think it's Noel Edmonds. No. You think it's Prince Andrew? I don't think so. Right. So which one of you is going to help me with this quiz? I need one of you to help me with this quiz. If we're going to do this quiz. It wasn't Gary Glitter. No. Because he's in prison. And he's too busy not being able to pay his bills. It's Miriam's in drag. Right. Sonia says, I'll help. Sonia, you're going to keep the notes. Okay. Sonia, if you are capable of keeping the notes, that would be great. Who is the real Miriam? Yes, let's be finding out. Who is the real Miriam? Isn't that a good question? Miriam.
I think it's Sam Palmer based.
We think it's Sam Palmer here in this house. Yes. You think it could be Janet Evans. Well, I don't think it's Janet Evans. She's not that computer savvy. It could be Sam Palmer. Yes, it's quite likely. Anyway, right. Okay. First question. So, Sonia, if you're going to keep notes, can you keep notes? Are you ready, Sonia? Are you ready, Sonia? Let's have Sonia. Nicola wants the quiz. Stevie D is going to bed as he's knackered. Right. Steve R says quiz. Sonia says yes. Right. Sonia, the first question. In which year did the legendary designer, famous for saying more is more and less is a bore, who was a lovely friend of mine, Iris Apfel, die? In which year did the legendary designer, famous for saying more is more and less is a bore, Iris Apfel designed. She worked for 9 presidents at the White House. She created eyewear. She was 102 when she died. She was fabulous. She was one of the most wonderful people. She even had her own Magnum ice cream brand when she was 101. Simon Coates gets the point. Well done to Simon Coates. Iris sadly died in 2024. Iris was one of the best on the whole planet. Such a lovely lady. Absolutely fun and joyous to spend time with. In which year did O.J. Simpson die? Oh, here's Miriam. Oh, trying to ruin our quiz. Oh, you think I'm a racist, Miriam, do you? Right, Miriam, bog off. Get off my channel. You're a pain in the ass. You're a bore and you're a disgrace. Fuck off. Okay, enough. We've had enough of you, haven't we?
Absolutely.
How dare you accuse me being a racist? I am the least racist person on the planet. You horrible, horrible person. Go away. Get off my channel. We don't need Miriam. Bye bye, Miriam. Right. In which year, our second question, did O.J. Simpson die? We're going to totally ignore you now, Miriam. We're not going to respond. Right. Simon Coates, you can have the point 2024 because you're the first to say 2024 after I blocked her. She is a pest. Get away, Miriam. Anyway. Okay, in which year did Madeleine McCann go missing? What year? And it was the 3rd of May, but what year? Matt Grant gets the point, 2007. Well done to Matt Grant. I hope our score taker has got this written down. What was the profession of Inigo Philbrick before he was sent to prison? What was the profession of Inigo Philbrick before he was sent to prison? He wasn't a builder, he wasn't a boxer, he wasn't a filmmaker. No, he wasn't a producer, he wasn't a mechanic, he wasn't a doctor. Bess gets it, he was an art dealer. Yes, he was an art dealer. He was a deviant who married the ghastly Victoria Baker Harbour and he went to prison for art fraud. What do Anthony Bamford, Conrad Black, Jeffrey Archer, and John Prescott have in common? What do they all have in common? What were they all members of? Tax dodgers? No, they weren't fraudsters. They weren't authors. They weren't writers. No, they weren't into swinging. They weren't MPs. No, they didn't all go to Cambridge. They weren't all tax evaders. They weren't all got an OBE. They weren't members of Matt Grant. You get the point. They were all members of the House of Lords. So Matt Grant gets the point. They were all members of the House of Lords. There you go. But they all stood down also. So they've all left the House of Lords. They were members, but they left. So Matt Grant gets the point. Well done to Matt Grant. How is our scorekeeper going? Is our scorekeeper keeping a score? Is there any winner at the moment? Is there anyone in the lead? Otherwise, this is pointless because I'm not keeping notes. Right. Anyone there? No. Oh dear. Well, this could be disastrous if we haven't got any notes. Hello, scorekeeper. Simon Marr has 2. Simon 2 and Marr 2. Say Sonia. Okay, so there we are. Right. Okay, so we're right. Okay. What do ex-reform UK bigwigs Ben Habib and Rupert Lowe have in common? What do the Ben Habib and Rupert Lowe have in common? What do they have in common? They're both not farmers. Well, they are both part of Reform, but no. What do they both have in common? Claire can have it. No, sorry. No. Actually, Matt Grant gets it. They were both kicked out of Reform. Matt Grant gets a point. Another point for Matt Grant. Give Matt Grant another point. They were both kicked out of Reform UK. They believe Nigel Farage to be a self-serving control freak. Who was the first British passenger believed to fly 1 million miles on an aeroplane? Who was the first person, British? He wasn't born in Britain, but he identified as British to fly 1 million miles on an aeroplane. It wasn't Cilla Black, it wasn't Prince Andrew, it wasn't the Queen, it wasn't me, it wasn't Richard Branson. I don't know why you keep thinking it's me. I haven't flown that far. It wasn't Mr. Smith, it wasn't Prince Philip, it wasn't Rolf Harris, it wasn't Bob Hope, and it wasn't Amelia Earhart. It wasn't Tom Tucker, whoever he is. It wasn't Joan Collins. It wasn't Amelia Earhart. It wasn't Reg Varney. No, it wasn't Donald Trump. It wasn't Prince Philip again. It wasn't Phil Collins. No. Lady Min is trying to suggest somebody, but she's wrong. It's not Prince Charles. It wasn't Douglas Bader. It wasn't Mel Gibson. It wasn't Freddie Mercury. So I think this question we're going to have to vamoosh. Well, you wouldn't believe it. It wasn't Lady Min. Lady Min likes airlines. She likes flying around. She does like taking an old, bit of an old aeroplane. She even makes people sing on aeroplanes and join in quizzes like with me. It wasn't Janet Evans, no. It wasn't Sean Connery. It wasn't Freddie Laker. So no, you've all failed. So we'll have to vamoosh the question. My question was so brilliant that nobody can answer it. The answer was, of course, Robert Maxwell. Captain Bob. Captain Bob was allegedly the first person to allegedly fly 1 million miles on a plane. The caviar gouging, allegedly so hungry that he once ate a dog in a day. Liar, plunderer, no friends, treated everyone like slaves and servants, and he loved salad cream. But he was the first person to fly 1 million miles on a plane. There you go. That's Captain Bob. So there you go. The horrible Maxwells. He ate a dog, yes. I'm very sorry to say it, Bess. Yes, he once ate a dog. He was very proud to tell the story of how he ate a dog, because he said he couldn't find anything else to eat, so he just killed the dog and ate it. He is disgusting. He's absolutely one of the most... He was most revolting. But look at his daughter. If you had a daughter like her, you must be pretty weird. Anyway, right. What color are the legs and the beak of a seagull? What color are the legs and the beak of a seagull? This is an easy question because some of you moan that my questions are too hard. They're not black. Mr. Lee Kicker gets the point. It is, of course, yellow. The beak and the legs are yellow. So, Mr. Lee Kicker, you get the point. Give the point to Mr. Lee Kicker, please. Which disgraced entertainer, once dressed up as Hitler, got down on his knees and worshipped Jimmy Savile and rolled around on the floor with the racist bigot Marie Claire Baroness von Orvensleben? The winner immediately is Paulie. Paulie gets the point. Paulie, it is Barrymore, Michael Barrymore, who rolled around on the floor with the ghastly Marie Claire. Marie Claire is one of the nastiest women I've ever met in my life. Awful, evil woman. Okay, what is the profession of the wonderful Emma Lavelle? Emma Lavelle, a fabulous woman. What is her profession? She is not a skater. She's not a chef. She's not a writer. She's not a ballet dancer. She's not an artist. She's not an author. Paulie says horse training. Yes, okay, we'll accept that. She is a racehorse trainer. Okay, Paulie gets the point. Give the point to Paulie, please. She's a championship jump trainer, but I'll accept your abbreviated answer. What is the company Halliburton most associated with? The company called Halliburton. What is Halliburton associated with? It's not oil. No. It's not fish. Paulie says weapons. You're getting close, but you're not correct. Simon says warfare. Okay, I'll accept. Yeah, it's an arms company, so I'll accept warfare. Simon Coates gets the point. I would say warmongering and dodgy ex-presidents. There we go. There we go. Right. Who became the first lady to host Countdown and a great friend of mine, wonderful, absolutely glorious woman, to host Countdown in 2021 after 39 years of the show of only having male hosts? Who became the host? Mr. Lee Kicker wins immediately. Of course, it was Anne Robinson. We love Anne Robinson with a passion. Anne Robinson, you are the best in the West. Her email address is, I'm not going to give you her email address because I think that would be a bit inappropriate, but it begins Sweet Pea because that's what she is. She is the most delightful, lovely lady, and she's having a wonderful relationship with Camilla, the Queen's ex-husband, and she's doing fabulously. And I'm very happy that the lovely Anne is doing so well. She's one of the nicest ladies I've ever met as well, other than Margaret. And what a fabulous person. I love Anne Robinson. She's just the best. One of the best. Fabulous lady. So, next question. Right. Where am I up to? I'm a bit lost. In which year did Gene Hackman star in The French Connection? This is just one of these easy questions that you all want. No. No, no, no. Lots of wrong answers. No. Again, Simon Coates, well done. You got it right. It's 1971. Easy question. Of which rugby club was the lovely Eddie Jordan a co-owner? Which rugby club did Eddie Jordan co-own? It wasn't Alabama. It wasn't Bath, and it wasn't Twickenham. It wouldn't be Bath anyway, because Bath's not in London. Paulie gets the point. London Irish. Well done to Paulie. Paulie, give the point to Paulie. Who are we up to now as a winner at this stage, please? Have we got a nota? Have we got a point? Who is in charge? Who is where are we up to? Who is first and who is second? Who has got how many points for the first place and how many points? Matt has 3. I don't know. Paulie has 3. Oh, right. Okay. Sonia says Simon 4, Matt 3. I don't know. I think in future I'll have to do this myself. Right. Lee has 2. Right. I don't know. It's very complicated, this. In future, I'll keep notes myself as well. Just to be careful. Right. What did Waitrose suggest people take to dinner parties instead of wine in 2024? It's not water. They said taking wine is rude. And I say, what next? Condoms? But they say, what? It's not oranges. It's not Coke. It's not gin. It's not ginger ale. It's not biscuits. It's not champagne. It's not orange juice or port. It's not the Game of Thrones. It's not flowers, cheese, lager. It's not Twister. It's not whiskey. Simon Coates wins. Simon Coates gets another point. So Simon Coates should be winning, I think, at this point, because Simon Coates keeps winning with his olive oil. So Simon Coates should be in the lead, in my view, in my quiz. What was the former Harrods head honcho and sexual abuser Mohammed Al Fayed's daughter Camilla cleared of stealing from her brother Omar in 2024? What did she steal from her brother? What item did she steal? It wasn't a ring, it wasn't jewelry, it wasn't a watch, it wasn't sweets, it wasn't Coke, it wasn't jewelry, it wasn't a watch, it wasn't no clue, it wasn't his virginity. What, he wanted him to have sex with him. It wasn't a Fabergé egg, it wasn't his comb, it wasn't his credit card. Miss Marple is close, but you're not. I'll allow Miss Marple to have it. It was his iPhone. It was a telephone. So, Miss Marple, you can have it with his phone. Yes, he did steal. She did steal his phone. Which real county is the blockbuster novelist Jilly Cooper most associated with? Which county is Jilly Cooper? It's not Berkshire, no, Joyce, no. Jane says Gloucester, but it's Gloucestershire, but I'll allow you. You can have it because some of you are getting very upset about my not giving you the. Okay, we'll allow Joyce Grove to have the point, please. Can we? So, how many points are we up to now? Let's have a tally. We've got 2 more questions to go. Where are we? Score up. Scores with the doors. Let's be having the scores. Scores on the doors. Let's have them. No. Simon has 5. Say Sonia. Matt has 3. So Simon is leading. Okay. Simon is in the lead with 5. Right. Well, what does the firm called Todd's, which I have many, many pairs of, primarily sell? What does Todd's primarily sell? Paulie gets the point with shoes. Well done. Paulie gets the point. I have a lot of loafers from Todd's myself. So there we go. So Paulie gets that point. That doesn't change the thing. Okay, and what type of stone is most associated with the architecture of the city of Aberdeen in Scotland? What type of stone is associated? It's not marble, no. It's not Portland. Joyce gets it with granite. Of course, Aberdeen is known as the Granite City. So there we go. You've got it. So, who is our winner? Please declare our winner. Thank you very much. We need our winner declared by our little adjudicator for the evening. Thank you very much for being our adjudicator, Sonia. Well done, Joyce. Sonia, who is our winner? Please, Sonia, declare our winner. Let's have Sonia declare the winner. Right. Sonia says Simon has won. How many points has Simon got? How many points has Simon got, and how many points has second and third got? Please, let's award them all equally well. Simon is the champ. Well done to Simon. He got 5 points out of 20. What does Lady Min say of Simon?
I think Simon's brilliant.
She thinks Simon is brilliant, says Lady Min. There we are. You want a date with Lady Miriam? Oh, well, Miriam, if you're still here. Oh, Miriam. Oh, come back, Miriam. Oh, all is forgiven, Miriam. Not. You silly old bag. Don't you bother pestering me. I don't know where Miriam is, but I'm not really that bothered. I don't really need to be speaking with this Miriam character. The only way is crazy. Yeah. Miriam has gone back under a stone. Yes. Miriam is defunct. Yes, I totally agree. Miriam, Miriam, Miriam. Ooh, what a pest you are. Anyway, never mind. Doesn't matter. Who cares about her? She's just boring. Just another one of those stupid people who wants to pester me. Oh well, never mind. Anyway, it wasn't stressful. But thank you to Sonia for your help and assistance tonight. That was lovely of Sonia. Sonia, you are delightful. So let's have a few more questions. Let's have a few more questions before we finish. We're now at 2 hours, so we're going to finish soon because it's time to shut me up. I can't go on forever, can I? And frankly, you don't want any more Miriams. But if we have a few more questions, where is Miriam? Yep, there we go. Miriam, I've no idea where Miriam is. She could be Sam Palmer. She could be Anthea Turner. She could be any number of people. She's just a complete pest. Just vile. She could be Lizzie Cundy. Yep. You'd like to have a Steeples dinner in London so you can all meet up. Well, yeah, we'll have a dinner at PJ's in Chelsea. I have organized dinners previously, so if you'd like to come to a dinner in London, I'll organize one with the speaker and we'll have a little dinner and you can have a nice time. That'd be nice. Yep. Do you want to go to PJ's or in PJ's? PJ's is the name of the bar. That's all it's called. It's called Polo Joe's, basically. So anyway, you're very welcome if you'd like to come, but we don't need to have that old mad woman there, do we? No, Janet's bar doesn't exist anymore, so you can't go there. So I'm very sorry, I will not be taking you to Janet's bar because it doesn't exist. But frankly, you should be glad that you don't have to go to that dump. I experienced it, so you don't have to. So there we go. Right. Anyway, right. What's my opinion of The Office? Not my kind of program. I thought it was boring. Not of any interest to me. Boring. Awful. Right. What was you loved The Office? Okay. Well, fair enough. If we all like the same thing, the world would be boring, wouldn't it? So I don't have to like it. Do I like salad cream from a glass bottle? I'm not really into salad cream. I never ever understood it. I like mayonnaise and I like with salad I'd like balsamic vinegar and olive oil. I'm not really into salad cream. I thought salad cream was a bit disgusting, to be honest. But if each to their own again. But Robert Maxwell loved salad cream. Supposedly his favorite thing on the planet. Other than caviar, which he used to gouge out of a tin. Yeah, I prefer mini cheddars. Yeah, definitely. You like mayonnaise? I like mayonnaise too. Have I ever done a bit of acting? Nope, never been an actor. I don't think I'd be much use. Absolutely awful. I'd be rubbish. Right, next question. Lucy Letby is innocent. Okay, Michael Derbyshire. Well, Michael Derbyshire, you're entitled to your view. I don't agree with you. Lucy Letby is as guilty as sin, is how we feel, isn't it? Lucy Letby, guilty.
Horrible.
Horrible woman. We think that Lucy Letby is evil and disgusting. Vile. Awful. I think that Matthew Kelly is a bit strange. I don't know much about Matthew Kelly, but he's not done me any harm. Don't know much about him. I don't know why you think he's strange, but he's not my kind of person. I will say that. I totally agree with you there. You can't be awful. That's very kind of you to say. It's better than saying I'm horrible. So thank you. There we are. Have I had grey poupon mustard? No. Can't say I have. Right. You need a fry up after all that talk of salad cream. Oh, well. A fried breakfast is never too bad a thing. I love a bit of black pudding and I love an English fry up. Yes, definitely. Right. Would you be the next James Bond? Well, I'm not an actor, so I can't be the next James Bond. That's impossible. That's the answer to that. What do you think, Grey Beetle? I don't know what Grey Beetle is, so sorry, I can't answer that question. What music do I like? Well, I love all sorts of music. I love everything from Bach to Coldplay. Everything. Lots of things. There we go. Right. Right. The only way is crazy wants me to have a fry up with you. Okay, and you'd like me to be your black pudding. Okay, well, if you'd like to cook me black pudding, that'd be very nice one day. Don't know where you are, who you are, or what you are, but because your name is The Only Way is Crazy Media, well, if you want to try that out, why not? When will I be back in the UK? Well, probably in the next 25 days. Right, Sonia. Oh, here we go. Sonia, Jeremy B. No. Bess asks, is that a Gant shirt you have on? No, the shirt is from Bernard Weverell. Like most of my clothes, they're all from Bernard Weverell. Do I play a musical instrument? I can play the piano, I can play the violin, I can play the recorder. That's about it. I'm not very musical, but I can play those things. What do I think about Jeremy Beadle? Well, I've been to visit his grave in Highgate Cemetery, and he's got a lovely grave there. He's a bit bonkers, but that's Jeremy Beadle. Did I ever meet Jeremy Kyle? No, never met Jeremy Kyle. He did interview Ghislaine Maxwell in jail, and well, that reflects very badly upon him because why on earth would you want to spend time with a bitch like her? Right. Next question. You like Stornoway black pudding? Yes. Well, I'd love black pudding from anywhere. I have friends who make black pudding in Northern Ireland and white pudding also. I love black pudding. I had some black pudding here the other day. Really, it wasn't in the same league as the Scottish version, of course. Right. What do I think about AI? I think AI is evil and bad and wrong. So there you go, Miss Marple. I don't like it. Right, I've got these questions firing in at me. What do you believe is the greatest cover-up in the last 100 years? You think that COVID was man-made? Well, Nicola, I don't tend to agree with your sentiment. What do I think was the greatest cover-up? I don't know. Let's think. Greatest cover-up in the last 100 years. This is very hard. You've set me a challenge. Greatest cover-up in the last 100 years. The greatest cover-up is probably. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, so no, I can't answer that question. Actually, it would be unwise for me to answer that question because I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I don't believe in 9/11 hoax and RFK and JFK and all that. No, so I can't answer that question. This is that. My answer is I don't have an answer. No, actually, it's better I don't answer that question. Right. Next question is, do I think 9/11 official accounts make any sense? Well, 9/11 happened. I'm not going to say any more than that. Okay. Steve R thinks haggis is better than black pudding. Well, if you like haggis, that's good. Black pudding and haggis are rather similar. Right, okay. All this 9/11 stuff. Do I believe in aliens? Okay, we'll move on to the next one. I don't believe in aliens. No. No. The death of Diana, well, that was an accident. It was a stupid accident. If she'd put a seatbelt on, she wouldn't have died, would she? The landing on the moon is a fake. No, I don't think so. The nuclear accident in 1957 was covered up. I don't know about it. Can't answer that question. Have I met Freddie Starr? No, never met Freddie Starr. Nope. Can't say I've met him. You can rely on me for honesty. If I haven't met them, I will say I haven't met them. Is he dead? Is who dead? Bess. Bess, who is dead? Who do you want me to know is dead? Freddie Mercury. Is he dead? Well, I believe he is dead, yes. It's very strange. Freddie Starr, is he dead? I don't know. I have no idea. I believe so, yes. What a silly question. What a stupid question. Next, we'll be having our Miriam back, won't we? Asking silly questions. Wouldn't we agree?
What's about?
Miriam. Miriam.
Oh, her.
She's a pest. I don't know why this Miriam keeps popping up. Why would people keep asking me silly questions? It's absolutely ridiculous. And as for this Freddie Starr, yes, he's dead. Miriam the troll. Oh, here we go. She's back again. I don't know how to do all this. I'll leave it to someone else to deal with her. But she's pestering again. The old troll. Oh dear. Anyway, let's end the program on a more positive note. A few positive questions, please. We don't need to talk about Miriam. I don't want Miriam as the concluding matter of this thing. Anyway, I'm going to say good night to you all if soon, but if you've got a few more positive questions to end the program on, we can answer a few. What are my plans for tomorrow? I don't know. Yeah, I will figure them out in the morning. But that's very kind, Elaine. I like you, Elaine. You're a lovely lady. Right. Anyway, which of some of the flowers I enjoy? I plant all sorts of flowers. What do we like? Daisies and lilies, and we like geraniums. She likes pansies, and she likes all sorts of things. Do I think a man will walk on Mars in our lifetime? Well, quite possibly. Have I met Stevie Wonder? No, I've never met Stevie Wonder. I'm sorry, I never did. Can we have a party night on your birthday? Well, my birthday's been and gone, so a bit late for that. But it would be nice to have a party with you, Miss Marple, because you're a lovely person. How will I watch the Grand National? I won't be able to because I don't have a VPN, so I can't watch it. It's very sad, isn't it? What time will I be on tomorrow? You keep missing the start. Well, I'll come back at 7:00 tomorrow, English time. Sorry, 7:00 English time. So, right, okay. Lots of love to all, says Amanda, and Nicola says good night to Min. You make my days happy ones.
Nicola, thank you.
And Min says thank you to Nicola. How do I like steak? It has to be rare. I cannot stand overcooked meat. I don't understand why anybody would cook meat like disgustingly over much. So I love rare. Rare is for me. I'm very particular about meat. Do I grow gooseberries? No, don't grow those. There's no point trying to grow fruit type things like strawberries and gooseberries and tomatoes in this place because these bloody birds come and eat them. So it's a waste of time. I saw some strawberries today and they were trying to flog the strawberries, and I thought, I wonder why you're trying to get rid of those, because they're not worth having. No, because these birds, unless you put nets all over them or put them in a greenhouse, they're not suitable for growing. My mother is a bit of an expert on the old art of growing fruits and vegetables and things. So my mother grows everything indoors in greenhouses for those type of things. My mother grows many other types of things outdoors, but she would never grow a tomato or a gooseberry or a raspberry or a strawberry unless it was grown indoors, because it's better to grow it in a place where the birds can't get at it, because these bloody birds attack the damn things. So no, we've got 3 tomatoes left out of, I think we had about 8. We've lost the majority. So it's a great shame, but anyway, it doesn't matter. It was an experiment. We tried it, but it's not worth it. And you've got to give them a lot of fertilizer. These kind of plants need fertilizer, and fertilizer is how they grow. So don't think about growing these kind of things without preparing the soil for them. It has to be extremely fertilized, and really you're better off having them in a greenhouse. So don't bother. It's a waste of time if you want to do it outside, because these bloody birds just eat them. Anyway, never mind. It doesn't matter. We tried. So anyway, we've replaced them with other plants. So there we go. Right. What's my thoughts on Leon Britton? Couldn't say I liked the man. Thought he was awful. There we go. Stephen, thank you for your question. Awful man. Right. Next question. Freddie Starr, yes. Freddie Starr ate my hamster, yes. Well, that was all to do with Max Clifford. Max Clifford was a thoroughly evil man. Let's be honest. Right. Okay. Some people like their steaks medium. You like yours large, says Simon. Well, if you like it large, have it large. Right. Anyway, so are we done with the questions for tonight? Are we ready to end this program? Would I buy a Tesla? I've driven Teslas, quite enjoyable things to drive. I drove a Tesla from London to Scotland once, and I quite enjoyed it. I drove it from Knightsbridge to Turnberry, Donald Trump's place. So, I was a prequel to all of the, Elon Musk, Donald Trump thing. I drove it, must have been many, many years ago. And I did 800 miles in, I think, about 9 hours. I'm very good at driving long distances. That's one of my longest. That's probably the longest distance I've ever driven. I've driven from London to this place, Saint-Tropez, but I didn't do that all in one hit. We stopped on the way, but no, in London to Turnberry, I did in one hit. So that was a very long drive. Anyway, I enjoyed doing that drive. Anyway, thank you very much. I'm going to end the show now. I think it's time to say enough is enough. Thank you very much. Good night. Good gardening. Thank you very much for your lovely company. We've had 2 hours of 23 minutes of wonderful conversation. Haven't you all been fantastic? You've been absolutely wonderful. Absolutely great. I thank you all. Night, night, and good gardening to you all. Take care. Good night. Bye-bye.